Hello, Mark Red Larsen here with the Drink Issue Podcast. Actually, I'm doing this on the Sunday morning after Christmas, and I still got my Santa hat and stuff. But I came up with this idea actually thanks to God. But Cheryl and I were talking yesterday how everybody looks so forward to Christmas. Um, you know, the month actually usually between Thanksgiving and Christmas is just Christmas, and buying and stuff like that and getting ready. And then it's kind of a letdown after Christmas is over with. And we were wondering, it's like, so why is it a letdown? And why do people stop celebrating after Christmas is over? Or so they believe Christmas is over. Well, I'm led to believe that after the 25th of December that Christmas is over. And it's far from the fact. And I used to think that too, and with me, Christmas goes on year round because I'm Mr. Christmas. And there's people in this Golden Glow Christmas Pass. It's an organization that we all have this sickness. It's an awesome sickness. So I have Christmas stuff out year round. Hey, I wouldn't be above wearing a Santa hat any month, of the year. But so many people think I was talking to a guy, yeah, he was already taking his Christmas stuff down on Christmas. And it was, he was sad. And it's like, you don't need to be sad. And leave it up because we have until Epiphany, which is in January, first part of January to celebrate. Actually, with the 12 days of Christmas starts on Christmas. And we think that because of consumerism, that we need to move on to Valentine's Day, at least the United States. And I mean, some of the stores, I'm not going to, already had Valentine's stuff out, on Christmas Eve day. It's like, we're never in the moment. We always are moving to the next thing. And then when we get to the next thing, especially Christmas, it's such a letdown because it's like, it's kind of a dream life, people get to celebrate, get to, be merry, without excuse, or making excuses why you are. And with me, I don't care. So um just don't let this chair I'm gonna lose. Um it's whatever you want to do, celebrate. And if you don't want Christmas to end, do it till Epiphany in January. And I'm going to, in a second, show what other countries do after Christmas. That the true celebration only begins on the 25th. And we should actually celebrate the feeling, everything that feeling we have in our heart, at Christmas and the Christmas season year round. Why not? I mean, I live Christmas stuff up year round, always. Anybody who knows me will tell you that's the truth. I'm always looking for vintage Christmas items. Um, hey, I'm above doing Christmas every month of the year. And but don't be sad and don't take your stuff down. Leave it up if you want to leave it up till who knows when. You decide. Don't let society decide. Don't let society decide about most of your things you do in your life. If you want this dream, since this is a Dream Catcher podcast, go after it. Don't care what anybody says or does or whatever. You're always going to have naysayers. And yeah, I have naysayers that doing my podcast when I'm in my 60s or dressing the way I do. I get people looking at me and it's like, I'm getting attention. Awesome. So and it wasn't always that way. But I'm not going to change because somebody thinks I shouldn't be wearing a Santa hat in February. Who knows? Whatever. Um, they just say, yep, that's marked. And thankfully I am. I'm blessed. I'm glad I am who I am. I'm glad I'm to the point where I am. And I just want to help people and show people that don't follow society. Don't follow what they tell you, because most of it's for consumerism. They want you to buy now. They want you to buy Valentine's stuff, and then we'll move on to probably a little bit of St. Patrick's Day and then Easter, and we just keep on going. 4th of July. There's always another Halloween, back to Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's how they bring the money in. But you don't have to fall for it. You don't have to. You know, you do have this right here. Your thought, your mind. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I like Christmas, and I'm not taking my stuff down. A lot of times, Cheryl and I don't take our Christmas tree down until after the first of the year, and we always have some Christmas trees up. We have a metal feather tree that our neighbor to the north here, Sally, made for me many years ago. That stays up year round. Actually, it changes to the seasons, but it's just that feeling, you can keep that feeling all the time. Um, I have it because Cheryl and I celebrate every day, and, maybe sometimes not as much as others, but, last night, Cheryl's sister had left us when she went back to Colorado, she had left us some champagne, and Cheryl and I had champagne, and just really kept on celebrating Christmas as I put in my post, and, you don't need a reason to celebrate. If you're alive still, you can still make a difference, even if you have handicaps. I see some of the most handicapped people making the most difference, positive difference in the world, and, it's mindset. It's definitely mindset, um, to do what you wanna do, and sometimes we're so conditioned that we don't know what we wanna do because we've been so told over the years what we're supposed to do, and we're supposed to be, I'm not even getting that. We're supposed to be good citizens and all this and, pay our bills on time and do all that stuff. And yeah, and that's all good to a point. But don't let it be all encompassing. That all you do is for the man, the society, consumerism. And do you really, although this is me saying, do you really need another Christmas item? I would say yes, but maybe you don't. Or do you need the latest, whatever it is? And because that stuff is such short bursts of positivity or energy, positive energy, I should say. And I understand that the jolt from getting a new Christmas item, especially when it's an antique one. And I truly treasure that. And the nice thing about that is, since I celebrate Christmas year round, when I look at that, I get that jolt again. Maybe not quite as much as when I first found it, but Cheryl knows the look in my eyes when I get that. And there's a look. And like a few years ago, we found a box of fluorescent Christmas lights. I worked for made in the late 40s, Pennsylvania, and it was the box and everything, and they were, oh my gosh, it was such a good deal. And Cheryl's like, she knew I had the box and everything in my hands. Nobody was going to get it away, and which was true. But no, it was awesome, and I wish that feeling on everyone listening, watching this podcast, because when you're really in flow, when you're doing something you love, whether it be Christmas or whatever it is, maybe you like Easter, maybe you like to travel, and I like to travel. I love to travel. Maybe you like to drink nice wines, and nice wines are excellent too. Some people don't drink. Cool. To each his own. But yeah, and do stuff that stands out. It still bothers me a little bit going on public with Santa hat on, and people look at me and it's like, I'm don't care. But it's still that inkling that they're so conditioned to follow the norm that it's still there. I know it's there, but it's not going to control me. And that's where I want everyone watching this and listening to this to get to that point where you recognize what you're quote unquote supposed to do as a good citizen. Um, but you do you. You do the person that God was meant you to be on this planet. The God that wants us to only have the best. Um, he does. I mean, he is ornery, and people say, and I talk to God, and I've told you that many times in this podcast. Not like this, but he does talk to me. And I asked him yesterday, because I didn't have actually a topic or any idea for this coming Monday's podcast. And everybody right now is in the Christmas season and doesn't want to do any of the podcast until January. Awesome, I understand that. Um, so he's given me some awesome ideas, and then he just by chance, which there's no such thing, puts the content in front of me. Um, it's so cool. But don't be down. Don't be down that the Christmas season's over with. Um, yeah, you're going back to work, and you don't have the Christmas vacation or Christmas holiday to look forward to. We're coming up on a new year. It's a gift. If you're still here, it's a gift. You still have something that God wants you to do here. Because if you're not, if you're done, you won't be here. And yeah, every day is a gift. Every day is a blessing. Doing this podcast is a blessing. The people I meet is a blessing. Um, and I see so many people struggling, and that I think is going to be my gift to the world. Um, God tells me it's going to be my voice, um, which I've said many times is weird to me because I was so quiet growing up. But so he tells me, and it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But But just and also the giving, the charities, and all the stuff that we do at Christmas. Continue that on to the new year. Maybe start your own charity, or a nonprofit, or whatever it might resonate with you in your heart. And just be you. That's the biggest gift you can give to the world and yourself. Be you. Whoever the crazy person you are, or whoever, the guy who wears Santa hats, sometimes you're around, and doesn't care. Um, and be silly, go dance in the street, do whatever you feel like doing. If you want to, whatever, be you. That is why God gave you. You're an original. No other person's like you. And that is truly the biggest gift you can give to yourself in the world. And so I'm going to look on my phone here, and everybody else. So now, talking about Christmas not being done at the 25th of December, and it says the 12 days of Christmas actually begin on December 25th and not before it. In many countries, January 6th, which is Epiphany, is just an important Christmas day sometimes. Gifts are traditionally exchanged on January 6th in parts of Spain, Italy, France, and Latin America. Hey, that sounds good to me. January 6th also marks the arrival of three kings, wise men, in the Christmas tradition. In Italy, children leave out socks for La Befana. I'm not sure if I apologize for that, not the way I pronounce that, on January 5th, not Santa on December 24th. And many European countries, markets stay open until Epiphany, not Christmas Day. So in Epiphany, like I said above, is January 6th. So see, we got lots of time to celebrate Christmas yet. And if you want to celebrate it past that, go for it. I will. And just remember that in everything in your life, and keep that spirit you had before Christmas, the magic of Christmas, the twinkle in your eye, like when you had it when you were a kid. You probably had it when you were an adult, coming up to Christmas. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it, especially if you're hosting a holiday. And I'm glad we're back to saying Merry Christmas this year. Happy Holidays is all right, but it's kind of generic. Merry Christmas. And I'm really glad. I'm blessed that we're saying that again as just the way it's supposed to be. And I don't consider myself religious. Spiritual, yes. There are many good churches out there. I have friends that are the head of churches. And I believe their church probably would be really excellent. I just don't like the politics and the stuff that goes on in churches, because sometimes I think it's one of the least church-like places to be, because of the politics and stuff that goes on. But I'm not going to, that's negative. And, but I am spiritual. There is a God. And everybody's like, well, you're reading your Bible? No, I'm not. God told me when we started this journey, he said he would let me know what I needed to know. And I already knew what he wanted me to know. And like I said with this church yesterday, they said, do you read your Bible? And it's like, I want the original Bible if I'm going to read it. I don't want King James version. And I would really love to see the original version that I might be interested in reading. And so enough about religion. But going back, don't be down that Christmas is over. It's not over. It's just getting started. And the feeling of Christmas can go year round. It can be every day. Just remember that feeling. Remember that feeling you have on Christmas morning. And because life's going to happen. You're going to have things that are not so happy go on. People will pass away. You might lose your job, but you might get a new job because of that. Because sometimes things have to leave to make space for new, better things to come in. And that is something that I have really discovered in the last year and a half too. And but just know you got it. You got God, and talk to him, pray. And as no matter what you think about President Trump, he was saying we should all pray. I think that's excellent. And you don't have to sit down and pray at a certain time every day. Pray when it becomes across your mind, and get into the habit of talking to God, because I guarantee you, he will talk back, and he always listens. And even if you don't think he's not listening, he's listening. He will show you how he's going to take care of that prayer that you ask help with. And that's why he's ornery. He works in mysterious ways. And yeah, I think I've about gone on long enough. When I'm by myself, I don't want to drone on, but I just want the best for everybody. And I want the new year, 2026, to be the best you've ever had, because you kept the spirit of Christmas alive year round. And you don't have to have Christmas stuff out like I do. I'm just glad that I've always liked. I think it's because my birthday's in December, and we put the Christmas tree up on my birthday. But I've always loved Christmas, and everybody knows that I love Christmas. And yeah, I have a little bit of Christmas stuff, and I have in the past had Christmas open houses, which were awesome. And yeah, just be happy, and that is kind of a, I don't know, cliche, but be happy. And there's no way you can be happy 100% of the time, but there's a lot of times you can turn it, and it's like, what's this trying to teach me? When something not so nice happens, I've definitely learned that, and there's always usually a lesson in what's going on. And it's a chance to pray to God more when things like that happen. And you do get to the point, and I talked in past podcasts about surrendering. It gets to the point where you can't do anymore. You could work 24/7 your whole life, and it still would not take care of the problem you might be facing. And that's scary, frustrating. I've been there. I know the feelings. Helpless. Yeah. But that's a chance to reach out to God and form a relationship with Him. He's waiting for you, whether you read the Bible or not, or whether you go to church or not. Um, and that's one thing, we have all this stuff over in a problem. And I don't care, if people are gay or whatever, have something going on, that's not quite social norms. God says to love one another. He doesn't say if you are this, love them. He says love everyone, love one another, and He means it. And because He loves every one of us, because we're His creations, we're His children. And how could He not be proud, whether even if you get lost in your journey? He will try and bring you back if possible. Some people, they don't get to that point, and that's so sad. And the people struggling on the streets, and the stuff that we do help them at Christmas. That's another thing I wish we'd go. I'm praying we'll go on after Christmas. We get all this fundraising and all this amazing things to help people that are less fortunate. But then we kind of forget about them when January comes. The New Year comes, and it's like they're kind of, they're there, but they're not there in the forefront. And we need to keep that in the forefront of helping one another, because we all struggle at one time or another. I guarantee you. Um, None of us gets out of this world unscathed. And just remember that next time you're suffering, somebody else is probably suffering too. And if you have the gift of somebody helping you out, being there to love you, love one another. Like I said, love one another. Um, because love can change and help a lot of people. But we do have people, which I can right now. We've had some nice weather for Christmas. We're going back into more normal weather right now. The wind's blowing like 30, 40 mile an hour, and it's going to be down to like single digits tonight. But it doesn't last long. We've had a really, really nice season so far. I mean, day before yesterday, actually, when Cheryl's sister here was here, and Christmas were beautiful. The day after Christmas was like spring. And talk about a gift. But but yeah, just reach out to God and surrender, and let's help one another even after Christmas. Let's just not forget about them, because the problem of homelessness, the problem of not having enough food around the world, um, is still there, and we need to keep giving, contributing. Whether that is with your money or time or both. And yeah, and I hope to have a podcast coming up with a gentleman, Joseph, who runs the Salvation Army in Hastings, Nebraska. Um, Awesome guy. And we saw him the other day outside the Walmart in Hastings playing an instrument, and had a great conversation with him. I can't wait to have you guys listen to him on the podcast. And I have no doubt that will be an excellent podcast episode. So, so on that, I'm getting close to, I try to keep these around 20 minutes when it's just me. Um, and I think that is, it's a good place to end a solo podcast, if you want to call it. But to reiterate, Christmas is not over. Christmas doesn't have to ever be over. The feeling doesn't have to be. It kind of ends at Epiphany, but the feeling doesn't have to. You can have that feeling year round. I'm proof of that. And I don't have it every day. I have my down days. Everybody does. Everybody's going through something. And that's why we need to be kind, because everybody is truly going through something. Be compassionate. Help them. If somebody's struggling, even if it's just in the grocery store or something, wherever it is, help them. You got the time to do it. And if you even thought about it, you should help them, you should help them. So on that, I'm going to end the podcast. That's one thing, even with no hair, like I have, very little hair. Saturday has to get pretty warm and have some of my coffee. I'm blessed to have this excellent coffee that is made here, brewed here, roasted, I should say, in Nebraska. It's one of my favorites, and I like Italian coffee. And we have a gentleman from the Y in Hastings who keeps us surprised, keeps us supplied, easy for me to say, with Italian coffees. And it's a gift, and he's a gift to the world too. Nicholas, I guess his appropriate name for this time of year. Nicholas is a true gift. He's a gem. So so I'm that, and everybody at the Y is their family. And I'm going to end there. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Dreamcatcher podcast. Go out and make a difference. Christmas is not over. Don't be down. Be up. Go out and help somebody. That they just get your, positivity going. And we'll leave it at that. And have a great day. And talk to you soon. Bye.